The Babylonian exile was a huge turning point in Jewish history. It started the diaspora, which spread the Jews to Europe, Asia, and even Africa. The word diaspora means to disperse people from their original homeland. This eventually led to the culture and beliefs of the Jews to be spread all around the world, which has kept the Jewish religion alive today. Now, let's go back to Babylon. The year is 605 BCE. Nebuchadnezzar had just taken the throne as king of Babylon after his father, Nabopolassar, had died. Nebuchadnezzar took over many cities and extended the Neo-Babylonian Empire all the way from the northern edge of the Persian Gulf to the city of Judah. In 601 BCE, Nebuchadnezzar attempted to invade Egypt, but was defeated. After this, he conquered Jerusalem, the capital of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar built temples in many of the cities he conquered, but his largest achievement was the rebuilding of Babylon. In 701 BCE, the Assyrian king Sennacherib advanced into Syria and conquered Sidon. Eventually, the Assyrian Empire collapsed around 612 BCE to 609 BCE. In 609 BCE, following the death of King Josiah and the exiled King Joahaz, which were both kings of Judah, Judah became subject to Egypt. Babylon and Egypt were in a battle to win control of Judah. Their fight for Judah, which lasted until 586 BCE, when Babylon destroyed Jerusalem, caused the history of Judah to be very gruesome, especially with the deportations of the Judeans by Babylonians. In fact, Judah suffered more than Egypt because Egypt was only defeated outside of its borders. When Egypt successfully resisted Babylon in the 4th year of Nebuchadnezzar, King Jehoiakim sided with Egypt. Because of this rebellion, Nebuchadnezzar sent his army from the neighboring nations such as Edom, Moab, and Ammon to attack Judah in 602 BCE. Jehoiakim tried to extend his borders by attacking weaker neighboring nations that fought, defeated him, and headed him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar favored him, thinking that he had been fighting against Egypt and their supporters. Jehoiakim wanted to rebel against Babylon, which was against the advice of Jeremiah. Babylon and the Aramean, Moabite, and Ammonite armies attacked Jerusalem in 597 BCE. Jehoiakim died during the battle. Guess he should have listened to Jeremiah. Babylon appointed Zedekiah to manage Babylonian affairs in Judah. The Babylonians were unwise to deport the wealthier, more experienced members of Judah, leaving behind inexperienced people to serve with the king. Zedekiah was expected to keep Judah subject to Babylon. Zedekiah ruled from 597 BCE to 587 BCE. Like Jehoiakim, he was exposed to Egyptian influence. Egypt was constantly offering aid to encourage Judah to rebel against Babylon. Zedekiah soon listened to their calls, and a 3-year battle followed. Judah was left on its own and exposed. Hunger added to their misery. In the 11th year of Zedekiah, on the 9th day of the 4th month, Babylon gained possession of the northern suburb. The Judean king was misled by neighboring states, some of which, like Moab, Ammon, and Edom, joined Nebuchadnezzar in destroying Jerusalem. Nebuchadnezzar wanted to stop the Judean monarchy and remove Zedekiah's government. Zedekiah and his troops attempted to flee to the south, but they were arrested. Though his daughters were freed, his sons were executed. Finally, his eyes were ripped out, and he was taken to Babylon where he died. What a harsh fate upon a man. Let's take a moment to commemorate him. Alright, moment's over. With Zedekiah's deportation, Jehoiakim, the second king of Judah, was taken to Babylon in 598 BCE. The siege of Jerusalem began on January 15, 588 BCE, and ended on July 18, 586 BC, with the fall of Jerusalem. Without Jerusalem, Judah was scattered. Virtually everything, royalty, economy, courts, etc., about Judah was based in Jerusalem. Without Jerusalem and all the leadership that was in it, Judah was insignificant. Let's get into the details of the destruction. After Zedekiah's rebellion, Nebuzaradan, the chief commander of Nebuchadnezzar's troops, was sent specifically to destroy the city of Judah. The city was burned. Gaps were made in the walls, removing Jerusalem's fortifications. Above all, temple vessels were taken to Babylon, along with its structure, the iron pillars, the stands, and the iron sea, a great bowl containing water for purification. The temple and palace were set alight. The entire city was reduced to ruins and ashes. The state was completely disintegrated. Judah was left in a demoralized state without anything representing the identity of Judah. The capital city couldn't serve as the center anymore. Nothing was left that Judah could pride itself on. After the destruction of Jerusalem and the complete execution of the Judean military, the time of the exile truly came into effect. It was clear that Judah could not be the same again as long as Babylon's power prevailed. Now we have to get into the exile of the people. The first deportation of people occurred when Jehoiakim was exiled in 597 BCE. The city was taken in March, and Jehoiakim, with many other members of the royal family, higher ranks of Judean society, and leading statesmen, were taken captive to Babylon, 3,000 in all. The deportation was meant to weaken Judah's military and prevent national governance. The second deportation happened in August 587 BCE, after Zedekiah's rebellion and during the fall of Jerusalem, when around 832 men were deported to Babylon. The third deportation occurred after Gedaliah, the governor appointed by Nebuchadnezzar, had been assassinated in 582 BCE. 745 Judeans were taken captive by Nebuzaradan, as instructed by Nebuchadnezzar. If the first deportation was 3,023 people, the second was 832, and the third was 745, they would add up to be 4,600 deportees. This number, added to the 10,000 captives of the first deportation, sum up to be 14,600 deportees from Judah. Unbelievable! Those who emigrated to safer places like the Benjamin territory and other places outside of Judah were the residents of Jerusalem, who were in fear of death by the Chaldeans. The exile of Judah began in 586 BCE and ended in 538 BCE. The exile lasted for about 48 years. Then, in 538 BCE, the exile finally stopped, when the great Cyrus the Great, leader of the Persian army, conquered Babylon. He was appointed governor. He allowed the Jews to return. Hallelujah! He gave them a script, now called the Cyrus Cylinder, which confirmed their return, and allowed them to rebuild their temple. This earned him an honored place in Judaism. Cyrus was known for being respectful to all religions and cultures. 5th century BCE Jews were grateful for that. For another 200 years, Persia dominated all of the Middle East and Egypt. The next large disturbance for the Jews regarding Babylon was in 6 CE. The Romans took over Judea, leaving the community in Babylon the only major Jewish population outside of the Roman Empire. How the tables have turned! The Romans caused a huge diaspora for the Jews, spreading them very far, but we won't go into that now. Nebuchadnezzar caused conflict by demanding the Babylonians to exile the Jews from Judah. Cyrus the Great compromised and gave the Jews permission to return. The exile, however, caused numerous Jewish communities to still live permanently in the diaspora. That's all from Rachel and the Babylonian exile. Goodbye!